Hi everyone. So sorry about some road noise. I'm out here walking the streets while my clothes go through the washer for the third time. Broken washer at the wash machine. This is New York City life. This is real. This is the streets, dog. But anyway, I think some people shared this article with me on Twitter, but it was already going around. The funny thing is that things have kind of like gotten kind of fallow with all of the views and the shekels, and I realize it's just because like things are just kind of blah right now in comics. The big controversies and the big dramas and the roasts that's where the real shekels are, but still enough to keep me out of the streets. But anyway, so this is an article, and I'm putting FGG in the title. FGG stands for Fake Geek Girl, man, it's funny. There's a little teeny tiny profile picture of her on this screen cap for the video title, and I can literally tell someone's a fake geek girl from like a picture that's half the size of my pinky fingernail. There's just these kind of commonalities of phenotypes, as they say. But anyway, the article is built around the idea that Harley Quinn being written in character by the characters. That was like a laugh, cringe cough. Harley Quinn being written in character by her own creators is problematic. This stuff seems like a parody at this point. So the deal is, there's a new one of those DC, straight to video DVD or straight to DVD animated movies. With those, I kind of go back and forth on them. Some of them have been amazing. A lot of them just seem a little bit too try-hard and edgy. I'd wish they'd kind of just play it straight down the middle more. Just do a good The funny thing is that the DCEU, DC Extended Universe, the movies, Man of Steel and Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad, they all get hit for, being too try-hard, edgy, but they pretty much have the same tone as the animated films. Anyway, there's one called Batman and Harley Quinn, and it sounds like its whole shtick is that it's in the tone and style and by the people who made Batman the animated series from the early 90s. Now, I know Batman the animated series is kind of revered and lauded, but I was watching it when it came out, and that show was also, had a generally high quality level, and it really tried some new things. There was a lot of just straight up boring episodes and boring arcs. This one seems kind of fun. It's focusing on Batman and Harley Quinn. It's not focusing on Harley Quinn and Joker. I don't think Joker's even in it. And it's got Nightwing in there, so this seems like something I would like. The FGG, usually I say to like to avoid these articles, but go ahead and Google it. I'll probably put the link in later today if I remember. But it's really funny how they try to say, "Oh, we're not being treated like adults," and they talk like even more stereotypical than I'm. Are they right? It's even more silly than how I'm talking right now. Like, it feels like it's a parody. So it feels like a middle schooler wrote this, kind of like Heather Antos's resume. But anyway, a Harley Quinn, her whole shtick is that she's a groupie for a serial killer. That's it. That is the entire concept of the character, a serial killer's groupie. And for people who are younger, groupie is kind of a term from like the 70s and 80s, but basically it's a girl who hangs around the band and is just willing to do anything for them. I mean, anything. So that's what Harley Quinn was. That's why it was so funny and fun, because, Joker, who's a psychotic serial killer who's killed tens of thousands of people, Harley Quinn just thought he was the greatest guy. In her mind, it was the Dick Van Dyke Show, and, she was Mary Tyler Moore. So it made for a lot of great comedy. It also made for a lot of great tragedy, because she would get little brief glimpses of sanity and realize what a horrible situation she was in, that the Joker just flat out did not care about her at all, and she was just a plaything. She was a fool. That gave the character a lot of depth. One of the big things that SJWs do is they take depth out of characters, because death is troubling, death is problematic. But one of the good things about depth is it creates empathy. It lets you go through something perhaps similar, perhaps only vaguely similar to the character, and when they go through it, you go through it. So you have a catharsis, you might have an enlightenment, you might look at Harley Quinn and realize, oh, that relationship from a couple years ago that I really missed and I always wanted them back, that was a really messed up relationship, and I was just basically just intoxicated and I wasn't seeing things straight. But this FGG and her ilk have transformed. I can't read Harley anymore. She's just awful. She's like the worst parts of Daredevil or Deadpool, plus some really, really obvious like lesbian propaganda. So she was always just, as we used to say in Marines, she was about it. She was very, very, very straight, very sexual, and just very like, that was probably like the healthiest part of her, is that she had a good, strong, drive. And then all of a sudden she became bi, but really just a lesbian, but then also kind of like a cartoonish one, like America Chavez or the sister in Supergirl, where it's not really so much about this came organically from her character as the writers want to virtue signal and propagandize. I mean, honestly, to me, a really interesting, tragic, and human story would be for her to get into a relationship with, let's say, Poison Ivy, and to find out that even though it is less violent, that it is actually more psychologically devastating than her relationship with Joker. As I brought up before, there's been studies, and lesbian relationships have very, very high levels of domestic abuse. So that would be just like a really sad human thing. And then I don't know, maybe she just leaves the whole tights game, or get her in a relationship with Nightwing. That would be a pretty crazy matchup. But they have her like with Poison Ivy, but it's very much of like a slumber party type of relationship. It's really weird. And then they changed her outfit. Somehow her outfit was everything's problem. The thing is, there's no solid end state for SJWs. They're never ever pleased, because they're fundamentally displeased by themselves. That's why they always have to change things they're not interested, just change all kinds of things. And then they continue. The hope is that when this thing is changed, I will be happy, and it never works, so they have to find something else to change. So the article just goes through a wide litany. She seems really, really bothered that Harley Quinn would ever want to be sexual. For those who have ever heard of good girl art, it's basically, what's the word? I'm blanking on the word. It's really curvy women showing off their assets, as some cheeseball would have said in the 50s, and then put it in quotation marks like I just did in real life right here on the sidewalk. But she can't believe that any woman would want to do that. Good girl art and burlesque is very, very popular with not only women, but straight women, and all kinds of women like that type of stuff. So the Fakey girl is appalled that a character who is created like that would act like that. And then, of course, she had to drop the word male gaze. Harley Quinn in an animated movie, I haven't seen it yet. I'm just going from the article. She does a kind of a interesting thing. There's kind of like a Hooters-style restaurant called Super Babes, where the waitresses dress up like superheroes, and I guess she dresses up as herself, which is kind of a funny bit. And then, there's actually this one thing that's been popping up where it's like, when you let males handle a female character, and then they show her bending over, and then they're like, she has two butt cracks. It's not two butt cracks, it's one crack, and then it's like the arc of her hips from a certain angle. I mean, to say that like Bruce Timm doesn't know anatomy or how to draw is like freaking ridiculous. But the main problem was that Harley would do anything to purposefully get male attention, that she would enjoy in any way being sexual and not related to a woman, and that she would actually have some heartache. They really hate the whole Batgirl thing, where Batgirl was injured, because their heroes are not supposed to be injured, because they cannot handle, they are so sensitive, they can't have a character that they like go through pain, because they can't handle it. But normal people can. Most normal people, well, yeah, no, all normal people can handle it. This is like one of the definitions of being normal. You can read a story. My daughter does it all the time. She's watching Rogue One. She's like, everyone's going to be okay, right? And because it's at the end. She's kind of sensing that things aren't. And then when things didn't go so bad, she's like, what? Everyone died. And I explained to her that things weren't okay for certain people, but that they did a sacrifice and then they ended up saving billions of people. So then she could understand that. She's 7. But my 7-year-old daughter can understand things that these 27-year-old gender studies majors can't. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. Like I said, I'm trying to match the length of the video to the length of ideas I actually have and not try to stretch it to 20. But tell me what you think about if you can identify a fake geek girl from a profile pic half the size of your pinky fingernail like I can. Tell me what you think about this idea that it's problematic for female characters to have vices and flaws. Tell me what you think about the current Juggalo Deadpool ripoff lesbian version of Harley Quinn. I just can't stand. Honestly, Jimmy Palmiotti and oh God, I'm blanking her name. Amanda Connor. They're good folks. They're really good creators, but their whole stewardship of Harley Quinn I've been very unhappy with. The Harley Quinn. There's been 2 people who have done Harley Quinn really well. One has been obviously the creators, Bruce Timm and Paul Dini and all the people at the Batman the Animated Series show. And then the other one who did it really, really well was the David Ayers, who wrote and directed Suicide Squad. And also the, God, I'm blanking on the woman's name, the actress who portrayed her. That was fantastic. You could say visually she didn't match any previous version, but kind of, you know, spiritually and personality-wise and performance-wise, she did. So, yeah, so tell me what you think about this. Subscribe, share, hit notifications. I think that Batman one-pager, I think it'll be done tonight. I'm really, really excited about that. And, so this is a question. So I got this John Carter Tarzan book. I think Dynamite puts it out. I heard about it. I was so excited about it. I couldn't find it at any stores. Finally, I found it at this store in Lynchburg, Virginia, called Untamed Worlds. And I told the proprietor, I was like, "Oh, I'm so excited about this." He's like, "Yeah, I stopped ordering after issue 3. I could not sell that thing." So I've got issues 1 through 3 of, I think, a 4-issue miniseries. Tell me if you think I should, because I'm thinking about just reviewing all 3 of them. Because I don't think there's a lot of interest in a John Carter Tarzan story from Dynamite Comics, but I'm into that stuff. I don't know. I've seen other channels really go down the rabbit hole, falling too much into their own interests, and I'll just throw a name out there: Comic Book Girl 19. She used to have me, and now she's just in this like really weird Dune phase, doing a bunch of videos about Dune. I'm sure she's happy, but she lost me. So tell me if I should do 1 video for all 3, or do 1 video for each one and just sprinkle it out over the next couple weeks. Thanks for watching. I'll have more videos up later today.